Hey everybody, Ron and Jules here from Fallout Hobbies.
Hey guys, what's up?
We are going to work on a little fun project today. I am going to be working on this really nicely 3D printed Rocksteady figure that I got. Hold on, let me just adjust the light right here for a second. Got that in place. There we go. Cool. So, there's this guy who has a Patreon account. His name is Prey Collection Studios, and he makes some seriously awesome 3D printable figures. And he's got a whole line of really awesome dinosaurs. He's got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like very like realistic, gritty looking versions of them. He's got Spawn, Gargoyles, the show from the '90s. A couple other random '90s cartoons that were turned into cool like 3D printables. And I've been on a little bit of a kick with his Ninja Turtles collections because I just love the posing and the details and stuff that he has in here. Here's a Taka that I'm working on. That's pretty awesome. And here's a little metalhead that I'm almost done painting as well. That's pretty cool. I like him. And I did Leatherhead, but he's in the other room, so I posted him on Customer Creation, so some of you might have seen him already. Today, I'm working on this Rocksteady figure. Now, honestly, I could have built this figure in sub-assemblies and made my life a little bit easier, but I kind of wanted to, like, I was being impatient, and I wanted to get all the pieces together. But I could have printed it so that the pants were just, like, one whole separate section. That's fine. It is what it is. I just got a little impatient there. I'm going to be using the traditional camo stencil to make like a really cool kind of like reddish brown fall camouflage pattern on his pants. He's had a bunch of different camo pattern pants over the different iterations of them over the years. I was originally going to do this with shard camo, but one of the versions of Rocksteady that I saw that I really liked, he had like fall camo pants on, so I'm going with that. All right, so I gotta break out the painter's tape and tape off the areas that I don't want to spray. I only got like a couple basic colors on here. I am nowhere near done painting this guy, so please ignore the gray on him. It's a little bit splotchy looking. The Gatling gun only has one layer of just gunmetal on it. There's no shading or anything on it yet. So, you know, don't focus on those parts. They're not the good stuff.
I said any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans in the house. Bob goes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Everyone's a Ninja Turtles fan. We actually have been on a little bit of a Ninja Turtles kick recently. We've had a couple of family movie nights where we went back through like the classic '90s Turtles movies and one of the Michael Bay ones. The '90s Turtles movies, the first one was pretty good. Second one, entertaining but not as good. Third one, horrible. Definitely the third one was just abysmal. But it's still fun, you know. I think the kids like seeing some classic stuff that's like pre-CGI. Like, what was that other movie we watched that was like, Short Circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah. I think the kids like seeing some stuff with like actual like robots and puppets sometimes because it's a little bit more, I don't know, magical than some of the CG stuff. Although some of these movies are like really dated.
Pop says, go Ninja, go.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Turtle power. My favorite's Donatello, for sure.
I have them over here.
Mm-hmm.
Did I show you?
I think you did.
Donnie.
Aw. Are you going to paint him on a live stream too?
You know, I might actually, because I might use a Turbo Dork paint for the green on him. So,
Nice. Mike Donahoe is checking in with us. Are you on your lunch break again today? Sneaking away.
Every Thursday, lunch break. That's, what is that? Fallout Hobbies contributes to corporate espionage.
Yes.
That's what we're doing here.
Bob says the soundtracks really carried a ton of films back in the 80s. Oh, for sure. Mike says, with you, Donatello all the way.
My favorite soundtrack from back in the day. And then Scooter remixed it into an awesome trance song was Never Ending Story. Oh, that's terrible. I'm going to stop singing. It's the never ending story.
He says, sure, lunch. Laughing my ass off. Yeah.
I'm almost done taping this guy off so we can start with the camo. I should be able to get the pants done in this live stream. I think it'll take me about an hour to get all the layers on. I'm masking off the base. I'm going to have to hand paint the feet, but that's fine. I just want to make sure that there's no like overspray on any of the cobblestones of the base.
Bob, is that a song or are you trying to tell us something? He has in quotes, bustin' makes me feel good.
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot.
Bustin' makes me feel good. Come on, how can you forget that? I'm actually excited for that, the new Ghostbusters movie.
They're making another one?
Yeah, but Sam, no, not Sam, Ivan, the guy that did the original two.
You're asking
I can't
me
remember his name. It's his son.
Okay.
It's his son, and he's still on as a producer, but his son's the director.
Oh, nice.
Reitman, Ivan Reitman. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, right.
So his son is directing it, and it's got Paul Rudd in it.
Really?
Yeah, and I always love Paul Rudd. I thought I showed you one of the trailers for that.
I don't know.
It's got Paul Rudd and like the one kid from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Wolf Finhart or whatever his name is. It's basically like the grandkids of the Ghostbusters find like their old equipment or something, and like there's a new ghost resurgence, and they have to save the planet from ghosts or whatever. But it looks cool, so.
I think you should do Donatello for another live stream.
I can do Donatello, and I can do them with the with Turbo Dork paints to get like a really nice glistening on the purple. I mean the green. Here, I gotta break this one out so everyone can see this. I finished this guy the other day. It's another print from the same guy from Prey Collection Studios, and it's Leatherhead from Ninja Turtles.
Oh, nice.
But I used Turbo Dork seafood. The color of the paint was seafood. To do like I painted the green like with different shades of green and like yellow brown around here, but then I sprayed everything with a layer of seafood when it was all said and done to give it like a really nice, metallic. That's an error I should have fixed. But to give it a really nice metallic like finish. So I was pretty happy with that. Here, he can hang out with you.
I'm going to give them a little shout out and share a link because he has some really cool stuff.
So in this instance, I pulled off the stencils and I'm going to use the negatives because this, the pattern of him is just so, his legs just have so many tight corners and stuff that it would just be easier if I do it this way. So I'm peeling off little bits from the stencil and I already painted the pants, this, what color was this? Mud brown. Yeah, I already painted a mud brown. So now that's going to be the first layer. So I'm applying the stencil, then I'm going to paint the next colors, so on and so forth, until it builds up like a really nice camo pattern. The cool thing about the traditional camo pattern that I have is it's pretty universal, and you can really just apply it in any direction. It doesn't have to go on like in a very even way that the way that like the hex pattern has to, because that's a little bit tricky to align sometimes. So we don't want to overdo the first layer of application because there's going to be like 3 or 4 colors on this. So the first layer is just going to be the brown spots of the camo pattern.
Mike says, oh, thank God. I was very curious how you were going to get the stencil in all the creases. No, just use the negatives.
Yeah, just use the negatives. I use the negatives or the positives of the stencil depending on what the project is. For something like this, definitely the negatives. But I could still save the positive sections and use them for something that's a little bit more flat down the road, so I don't have to, waste them. So we had some craziness yesterday, which I just was reminded because I heard the neighbor's crazy pit bull outside. The neighbor's pit bull escaped and tried to eat this little fluffy dog in the middle of the street and knocked a bunch of older people down. And our landlords did nothing. They did nothing about it. They just stood there and watched. Ugh.
But at least the dog didn't eat Autumn. It reminds me of that John Malkovich movie with the fight dogs, Bullet Head. Did you ever see that?
No.
Yeah, so it's like a heist or like a robbery or whatever that goes totally wrong. You don't even get to see any of the heist part. And they're trapped in this warehouse.
Okay.
And the warehouse, unbeknownst to them, was being used by this ring of people who were fighting these dogs. And there's this one beast of a dog that's just totally reminds me of Jackson next door.
Is that the premise of the movie? Is that the beginning of the movie?
That's the whole movie.
Oh, they're just them trapped in a warehouse with crazy dogs.
Yes.
Oh. That sucks.
And everyone dies. Spoiler alert.
Oh, well, why'd you give it away? Are these are they just regular dogs? Is there some genetic enhancement or?
No, it's just everything goes wrong, and the dudes who run the dog fight ring, they come back to get the money and other stuff in the building or whatever the night after the fight, and yeah, people are just getting shot and dogs are eating people, and it was crazy. It was a John Malkovich movie.
Oh.
Yeah, very strange.
He does do some strange films, though. Alright, I think we got the first. There's a section where I could use a piece down here. I think we got the first layer pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to fire up the airbrush, and I think I'm going to spray some green as the next color. And I'm actually going to do a lighter green because what I'm doing is I'm spraying the next color, and then I'm going to put more stencils on. But it's not going to cover the whole thing, and I want the green to really pop. So I'm going to be doing a lighter colored green.
You gonna put any red in there?
Yeah, red's gonna be the next color.
Rocksteady had red in his pants.
Yeah, red's gonna be the next color, and then the final color is gonna be kind of like a greenish gray, like a greenish black gray color. And that should, and then when I peel it all off, excuse me, I keep hiccuping. when I peel it all off, it should be 4 layers of color just kind of like overlapping each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do, I could hand do some highlights and brush on like a wash or two to kind of like enhance the crevices and whatnot.
Frank Kingery is watching with us, and David and Eric Kerwin.
Thanks for
watching.
joining us. Thanks for joining us today.
And if you're just checking in, we are painting up Rocksteady today from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and taking it old school.
I have noticed that a lot of the sculpts that this guy is working with, the guy that designs these STL files, a lot of them seem to be from IDW, when IDW Comics did Ninja Turtles for a while. But it also seems like he's adding some elements that weren't in the IDW comics that were more like retro. Like it looks like he's doing kind of like a hybrid.
Maybe he's paying homage to the classic Turtles.
Yeah, like for instance, the Bebop character that he has looks predominantly like the IDW version of it, but then it's got like the turtle shell shoulder pads that like was in the original figure, so there's like a little bit of homage there.
Tony Howard is checking in with us. Hi, Tony.
All right, let's get this green on here. Oh, there's a little bit of spitting. I know this green looks bright, but keep in mind it's going to be toned down significantly when it's done. Okay, green is on. Let's let that, wait, let me see if there's any sections that, make sure it's on evenly. Giant butt cheeks. Rocksteady has a giant ass. I did like the way that they did Bebop and Rocksteady in the most recent Michael Bay movie, Out of the Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
They did. They didn't completely keep to the characters, but it was still good enough, and it was very retro-tastic, which I liked. Like Rocksteady's like, "Hey beats, hey beats."
Cass Passwell is checking in with us. Hi, Cass.
Hey, Cass.
He says Raphael's his favorite.
He's got the most attitude of the crew. That's from the 2012 Ninja Turtles theme song, which is the one that my kids love to watch a lot. So I kind of got that song like burnt into my head. Donatello, he's got a way with machines. Raphael, he's got the most attitude of the team. Michelangelo knows when it's party time. It's just like, you see the show like, 60, 70 times, it gets like burnt into your head.
Yeah, for sure.
But the 2012 show has a lot of adult stuff in it too. There's a lot of like references to like adult pop and whatnot.
Goes right over the kids' heads though.
Oh yeah, the kids don't get it, but I get it. and I enjoy it. And that's how they hooked me.
We're just really good kids around here anyway.
Oscar gets some of it. Oscar picked up, there was one episode where there was the noxious Avenger, and Oscar was like, that's like the toxic Avenger. Like, he totally gets some of it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's also because we've like introduced the kids to a lot of the classic 80s stuff.
Yeah. There was this one villain in the one season that was called Ramiro Savini. It was like, they're really like going for the adult references there. All right, we gotta wait a few more minutes for this green. It's dry in some areas, but there's a couple wet spots. So I gotta wait a few more minutes for that. So I'm gonna get the next color ready while I'm doing that. Orange, brown. So let's see. This Mephiston red needs to be toned down a notch. It's a little too bright. I need to mix that with some brown. Hey, any chance you could hand me a condiment cup from back there? Could you hand me two?
Mm-hmm.
The condiment cups.
Where? Oh, I see. I'm just going to grab what was there.
Great, thank you. The infamous condiment cups that I love using every time. Now let's get some Easton red in here and start dialing this down with some brown. That's probably enough. Camouflage pale brown. That's looking better. Maybe a little bit of orange brown. Alright, that's better. That's not so saturated. Get a little bit more water in there. It's going to be a few minutes before I can use this. Okay. Alright, the red is mixed up. Seems good. I think I can start working with this.
Scott Riddle is watching with us today. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott. Alright, so now that I painted the green, I'm doing the next layer of camo stencil. So everything that I cover with the white stencil now will be green when I peel it all off. So far we have the orange rusty color layer and the green layer. Then we're going to do the red layer, one more layer of stencil, and then we're going to do like a greenish gray to kind of like see it, like finish it all off. So Jules and I have been under a lot of stress lately.
Yeah, we are excited too, though. We are buying a house, so we're like super stoked. It's just a lot of stuff going on all at the same time. So. But it's really cool because the people who we are buying a house from, they're actually war gamers.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So when we walked in there, it had this like amazing finished basement, and there was a game table set up in the middle of it, and the dude had a bunch of his Sisters of Battle stuff like on the shelves around it, and I'm like, what? There was like a Necron rock in the backyard and stuff.
I wrote the most ridiculous like buyer's letter ever.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was kind of like serendipity, though, you know? It was meant to be. And Mike goes, yeah, and it'll get you away from the neighbor's dog. Yeah, you know, the sad part is, like, I am an animal lover. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of a cat person. But, like, I really feel bad because, like, animals, period, they only know what they're trained. So, they're an older couple that has the dog, and they kind of like leave them outside all the time with like no water, and they'll leave them out there for like hours on end, whether it's real hot or real cold. So it's
And the
kind of
animal
sad.
doesn't. The animal's aggressive, but he like doesn't. It's like he's never been trained otherwise, and the owners don't really do much to, to dissuade that behavior.
So not the dog's fault for sure.
We're definitely blaming the owners on this one, but
Gareth Jones is watching with us today. Joe Belding's also checking in. Hi guys.
hey guys, this one down here does not want to stay in place.
And nor Jamal. Thanks for watching.
Oh, why does this one not want to stay in place?
So if you're just checking in with us now, who is your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
I was always split as a kid between Donatello and I liked Leonardo a lot.
Donatello, and I also like Michelangelo just because he was just so fun, you know?
Well, yeah, everyone loved Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to like Michelangelo. He's like the fun of the team, you know?
Ah, yeah. Mike says, hell yes, I've got a pity. They can be super sweet, but it depends a lot on the owner. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I also feel too, like, you know, I really wish that, you know, irresponsible pet owners, like, punishment should fit the crime. I wish, like, there was a way that they could have to endure the same kind of conditions that people leave animals in, because that's just unspeakable.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that dog out there, like, in the rain, and I've seen the dog out there, like, in the middle of the heat, and they'll, like, leave. They'll leave and go, like, to buy, I don't know, antiques. I think they go antiquing on the weekend or something.
But it'll be like a whole day.
Yeah. And
without like water or anything. Henrik Peterson's checking in with us. Hey, he says Mikey for the win. He's always been my favorite.
It's hard to not like Mikey because he's definitely the party dude. Dude, it was funny though in the 2012 episode. There was this one thing where they showed like multiple timelines intersecting, and like the 90s turtle cartoon like merged into the 2012 turtles cartoon, and like they were kind of like making fun of each other because in the 2012 cartoon they actually kind of like fight, whereas like in the 90s cartoon they did things like use the katanas to like cut up pizza and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like Leonardo's like, do you even use your weapons? Or you just like cut up pizza with them or something? Like they're like making fun of each other. It was funny. And the guy that was the voice of Raph in the 90s show is the voice of Donatello in the 2012 show.
Mike says laugh out loud. Yeah.
Alright, I think I'm good on the green. I'm trying to get a couple of like little guys in here just to
Bob says Michelangelo, crowd favorite. Yeah.
totally. Alright, I'll get one more green up in this corner, a tiny one. Okay, now I can spray the red. So let's get that red in there. Paint's a little on the thick side. It's actually okay for this because it means it'll be less likely to like bleed under the stencils.
So how would you fix that if there's like a little bit of bleeding under the stencils?
Well, I have all the colors in bottle, so I could just get in there with a brush and touch up any edges if I need to. But the airbrush stencil is going to get like 99% of it. There just might be one area or two where like the stencil is lifted up, and I might need to touch it up by hand. But that's okay. I'm sure there'll be one or two areas that I need to touch up by hand after I'm done peeling these off. So
Chris Patton is checking in with us watching today. Who's your favorite turtle?
you know what I did like about the way they did Rocksteady in the 2012 series is they gave him this like really like ridiculous Russian accent. So he's like, "Why am I always have to be fighting these fleeky turtles?" Like it's just like this over the top accent.
Yeah, we watched the third one with the kids this past weekend, like the old 90s, like third movie, and it did not stand the test of time.
No, the one where they time travel back to like ancient Japan or something, and like Casey Jones is like the comedy relief in it because like some samurai guys like time travel to the future and Casey Jones has to like babysit them. It's so bad. And of course hockey. Hockey is the thing that like brings the samurai warriors together.
When does ice hockey not bring people together?
I know, it's such a Casey Jones thing.
He's actually the best part of the third movie.
Casey Jones?
Yeah, him as the comic relief.
Yeah. Casey Jones was a big reason that the first movie got in so much trouble because he was so violent and like hitting people with like baseball bats and stuff like that and killing Shredder by like turning the lever on the garbage the garbage truck. That was a big reason that they didn't make any toys for the first movie.
Sad.
It was too violent. And that's how come the second movie was like kind of stupid. Because they were toning it down so they could like make toys for it.
We didn't watch the first one with the kids, did we?
I have seen the first one with my kids, but I don't think we watched it with all four of the kids together.
We totally should.
Yeah. First one's good. It's dark. It's a lot darker than the other two.
Bob says his favorite non-turtle is Bebop.
I've got a Bebop that I'm 3D printing. So that's going to be dope.
And one really cool thing to announce is this weekend, some of our kits we've decided to release as STL files, and that's going to be mostly our Mecha and Gundam stuff. But that'll be new, so if you get our newsletter, then you'll hear about that.
Yep. There's gonna be around 10 kits for the launch, and they're mostly gonna be like rifles and weapons. But there's also gonna be a VTOL backpack and a heavy arms conversion kit to make the Gyaradoga look really dope the way it did in Unicorn, since they never made an MG scale kit for that. So all that stuff's going to be available as pretty inexpensive downloads this weekend. But we're going to start doing that moving forward. We're going to start expanding the digital downloads aspect of Fallout Hobbies moving forward.
Roger Campbell is watching with us this afternoon. Hey, Roger.
Hey, Roger. All right, so this is probably good enough that I could put the last layer of stencils on, and then I'll spray it like a greenish gray for the final application. Why am I always having to chase these people? So hopefully if I did this right, it'll be a pretty good overlap.
Mike says, nice. STL files are always good. The base risers for our LED kits would be great as well.
That's actually a really good idea. We should probably just put that up too.
Yeah, because those are really, really simple prints to begin with.
Yeah, they're just rings.
And they could have, like, other purposes too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Philippa 10 is watching with us this afternoon. How's it going?
Almost done here. This will only take about another minute to get the rest of these little guys up.
And if you are just watching now, Ron is working on doing some camo patterns on Rocksteady's pants.
Sweet, sweet camo pants. The best part for me when I'm doing this type of stuff is peeling the stencils off. That's totally like some like ASMR stuff for me. Like it's just incredibly satisfying to peel the stencils off. Almost done. Just want to apply a couple more of these. Trying to make sure some of the red shows because I know there's a lot of green and the orange underneath as well.
Bob says, must be the paint fumes too. Paint fumes?
What paint fumes, Bob? What are you talking about?
That's actually the one thing we're going to have to think about in the new workspace where we set up the printers and stuff, is having a little bit more ventilation and whatnot with all the alcohol, and the alcohol baths and stuff really get to me when I'm printing decals.
Yes, I know.
Right next to the 3D printers. I think we should set up in that room that the previous owner already had, like, you know, spray cans and stuff in.
Mm-hmm. More. It's this sheet. wonder if Oscar's watching.
I don't know. He didn't check in with us to say so. I posted the Facebook link for him that's on the public page. We discovered we have to be way more family friendly because Ron has his kids like halftime, and we discovered that Oscar started watching the live streams.
Yeah, my son's watching my live streams now, so I have to
be good.
I have to be good on the live streams. Found that out this weekend.
I think that's actually really cool.
I think it is too. Alright, almost there. I just really want to make sure there's a nice even distribution of red in here. Okay. That's good. That should be a good distribution of the red. Now, let me pick out the right color. I have black gray, but I do have a gray that's a little bit more green. Anthracite gray. I could just add a little green to this actually and just do it that way. That's probably wrong. This refractive green is pretty cool, but it's not, it could be a little bit darker. So I think if I take refractive green and add just a smidge of black gray to it, that'll be enough to darken it up the way I want it to be. Yeah, that's more what I'm looking for. Kind of like muted camo green color. Alright, this is going to be the final color, then we can start peeling the stencils.
Any tips for anyone on like layering stuff for like the stencils for?
Well, you don't want to go overkill on the first layer, because if you cover up too much stuff on the first layer, it ends up dominating the colors too much when it's all said and done. You want to kind of do like a relatively even dispersal of stencil with each layer.
So like the same amount.
Yeah, like the same amount of stencils with each layer that you're doing, so it's not like too heavy on the green or too heavy on the red, or, you know, you don't want it to be like that. You got to think about, most camouflage colors have a spot color, like a color that kind of stands out, whether it is like a bright green or a bright orange, usually because that's like representing like falling leaves or something like that. So you want to make sure that that color gets represented well. That color would not be the last color. The last color is always going to be the overall tone you're trying to set for the stencil. Hold on, I need to get a little bit of water in here. A little bit of flow improver. Vallejo tends to sell color sets that are really nice for different like periods. Like you could buy, you know, Soviet color sets, British color sets, German color sets. So if you're doing camouflage pattern, and if you're not doing historical, but you're still trying to make something look like it's themed from a historical period, you could buy one of those color sets and use that for the camo pattern. I think half of these colors that I was using for here came from a German color set. And the Vallejo color sets are usually you get your bang for your buck. The paints end up being about half price when you buy them in a set like that, as opposed to buying the bottles individually.
Mornay Smith is just watching and checking in with us now, as well as Andrew Cook, who says MiG too, especially for aircraft. Hey, Adam Blight.
Hey, Adam. Yes, MiG does sell a lot of great color sets. Alright, I think that is pretty good. I'm going to let that dry for a minute, then start peeling the stencils. Let me just clean out the airbrush while that's drying.
So if you're just checking in now, Ron's doing camo pattern on Rocksteady's pants today. So
Actually, right now I'm cleaning my airbrush.
and of course, the ever popular question of the day is who your favorite turtle is.
Alright, let's start peeling this. And like I said, because this had so many nooks and crannies, after I peel it, I might have to do a little touch-up. So I have the two colors in condiment cups over here, just in case I need to do that.
Andrew Cook says, depends on my mood. It used to be Mike, then Raphael, leaning more these days towards Donatello. Yeah, Donatello's my favorite. I love Donnie. Yeah, we've been introducing the kids to like a ton of classic stuff. So Turtles, of course, being one of them, and Short Circuit, and E.T., and all of those cool movies. Andrew says, doing a loosely Donatello-themed Ma K project.
What?
MA space K period space project.
Mock.
Ah.
They were these cool mecha kits from back in the day.
Ah, okay. I getcha. Well, you will be happy to know, if you're just checking in now, we are going to be releasing Mecha STL files over the weekend. So that'll be cool. So if you're not subscribed to like our tactical squad newsletter, you should definitely sign up, because that's where we're going to announce like the STL files, and we generally put out the new releases.
just peeling away here.
And it's $5 off too when you subscribe for the first time to the Tactical Squad. I forgot about that.
I think that the bright green might have been too bright, but I can tone that down. There's still going to be washes and stuff like that on this. But overall, these paints are pretty wild.
They definitely remind me of Rocksteady's pants. I like the whole fall kind of theme. Peter Corteliz is watching with us now. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
And Chris Stenhouse. Hey, Chris.
Sometimes when I do this peeling and I think that I got everything, and I'll like go on and continue like painting the model, and then towards the very end I'll realize that I still had like a piece of stencil left on here. That's happened to me on some Gundam kits.
Dylan O'Brien is checking in with us. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Mike says, looking better with each removal. Yeah, peeling it off is always like the gratifying part.
It's like when you would put, Elmer's glue on your hand as a kid and then peel off the layers and it looks like you're peeling skin. I don't know if you ever did that, but I did that. If I was being more patient, I could save all these little bits and reuse them again, but I'm not.
And the ever popular question is, are these stencils reusable? They definitely are.
We like to say reusable with care, meaning don't rip them off aggressively. Put them back on the backers. Try not to get the sticky parts dirty. If you can do that, they last a lot longer.
So basically, don't manhandle them.
Don't do what I'm doing. What was that phrase that we had to tell the kids this weekend?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Exactly.
Some old school parenting techniques.
That is a stencil.
I think one of my first purchases, like after we like buy the new house, is going to be some noise canceling headphones. I'm just never going to take them off.
I'll be like, babe. You'll be like, what? Do I have to listen to you? No. Okay. Cool. That's a pretty bold camo pattern right there. I'm not gonna take the tape off the rest of them yet because I'm gonna airbrush a wash onto that to help with that, the brightness, and to kind of bring it all together. What time do we have?
It's 2:57.
Okay, we got enough time to do this real quick. Oh, this one's dead. Okay. Snakebite leather contrast color. I always like the contrast colors for airbrushing as layers after I do stencils, because I feel like they just kind of provide like a nice finish. There it is. So now a lot of these colors that were like a little bit jarring are kind of coming together in a more natural way. And then you can also use the contrast colors to help shade the figure, like get into the crevices, or like shade under the butt, like right here. Make it a little darker under there to make it look a little bit more realistic. Now that is looking good.
Yeah, that wash really did the trick on like toning down that really bright green.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of second guessing that after I was peeling the stencil, but then I remembered I was going to spray the wash, because every time you spray a wash, you're knocking the color back like several layers. And when you do that, it's like you kill all the high saturation. So if you still want the, green to pop out, you have to make it,
Excuse
me, much brighter. I keep hiccuping, guys. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much.
So contrast paints are good for covering up happy little accidents.
They are. I also tend to use contrast paints, like when I was doing a lot of Eldar stuff. If I was doing some like blue gradients, or I was painting it. Actually, here I got an example right here. This wasn't Eldar, but it was the same exact scheme that I was using with my Eldar. And I was able to, you could see the one side, it's very flat. That's just the raw color. If you flip to the other side, you could see that there's shading along the spines and shading back here. And that was with contrast colors to help kind of blend all that in. So I do find the contrast colors to be very helpful with kind of bringing together the different colors of the stencil. Also, sometimes when you stencil, there might be a little bit of an edge to to the paint from the different layers, depending on if you painted it on really thick or not. And if that's the case, sometimes the contrast paints can actually help blend those edges a little bit too. So that's where we're at. I am pretty happy with these pants. I'm not going to take the tape off yet because I still want to like paint his belt and these little packs, and he's got like these little leather packs and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that came out. What do you think, babe?
Nice, very nice. I like it.
All right. Well, guys and gals, thanks for watching, and we'll be back next Thursday. I'm not sure what we're doing next Thursday. I might still be doing another Ninja Turtles figure, and maybe I'll do Turbo Dork paints on him.
I think you should do Donatello.
Donatello with some Turbo Dork paints?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's probably what I'll do then. But anyway, have a good one, and we'll see you guys in a week.